Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 11, Chapter 15. Lord Krishna's description of mystic yoga perfections. This chapter describes the 8 primary and 10 minor mystic perfections. They are developed by fixing one's mind in yoga, but they are ultimately obstructions to achieving the spiritual abode of Lord Viṣṇu. Being questioned by Uddhava, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa describes the characteristics of the 18 mystic perfections and the particular kind of meditation by which each is achieved. In conclusion, Krishna states that for one who desires to perform pure devotional service to the Personality of Godhead, the achievement of these mystic perfections is a waste of time because they distract one from proper worship. All these perfections are automatically offered to a pure devotee, but he does not accept them. Unless used in the yoga of devotional service, these perfections are valueless. A devotee simply sees that the Personality of Godhead is always present everywhere, both externally and internally, and depends completely upon him. Text 1. Śrī Bhagavan Vacha Jitendriyasya Yuktasya Jitashvasasya Yoginah Mayi Darayatasceta Upatishtanti Siddhayaha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Uddhava, the mystic perfections of yoga are acquired by a yogi who has conquered his senses, steadied his mind, conquered the breathing process, and fixed his mind on me. Purport. There are 8 primary mystic perfections such as animosity and 10 secondary perfections. In this 15th chapter, Lord Krishna will explain that such mystic perfections are actually impediments to the development of Krishna consciousness and that therefore one should not desire them. Text 2. Śrī Uddhava Vacha Kaya Dharanaya Kavsvid Katam Vasiti Rachuta Kativa Sithayo Bhuri Yoginam Siddhido Bhavan. Translation. Śrī Uddhava said, My dear Lord Achyuta, by what process can mystic perfection be achieved, and what is the nature of such perfection? How many mystic perfections are there? Please explain these things to me. Indeed, you are the bestower of all mystic perfections. Text 3. Śrī Bhagavan Vacha Siddhayo Sthadasa Prokta Dharana Yoga Paragaihi Tasman Ashtau Mat Pradhana Dasaiva Gunahetavaha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, The masters of the yoga system have declared that there are 18 types of mystic perfection and meditation, of which 8 are primary, having their shelter in me, and 10 are secondary, appearing from the material mode of goodness. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the word Mat Pradhanaha as follows. Lord Krishna is naturally the shelter of the 8 primary mystic potencies and meditations because such perfections emanate from the Lord's personal potency, and thus they are fully developed only within the Lord Himself and the Lord's personal associates. When materialistic persons mechanically acquire such potencies, the perfections awarded are of an inferior degree and are considered to be manifestations of Maya illusion. A pure devotee of the Lord automatically receives from the Lord wonderful potencies to execute his devotional service. If for sense gratification one mechanically endeavors to acquire mystic perfections, then these perfections are certainly considered to be inferior expansions of the Lord's external potency. Text 4-5. Anima mahima murtir lakima praptir indriyaihi prakamyam shruta drishteshu shakti preranam mishita gunish asango vashita yat kamastad avashyati etame siddhaya saumya ashtav outpattika mataha. Translation. Among the 8 primary mystic perfections, the 3 by which one transforms one's own body are anima, becoming smaller than the smallest, Mahima becoming greater than the greatest, and Lakima becoming lighter than the lightest. Through the perfection of Prapti one acquires whatever one desires, and through Prakamya Siddhi one experiences an enjoyable object either in this world or the next. Through Ashita Siddhi one can manipulate the sub-potencies of Maya, and through the controlling potency called Vashita Siddha one is unimpeded by the three modes of nature. One who has acquired Kamavasayita Siddhi can obtain anything from anywhere to the highest possible limit. My dear gentle Uddhava, these 8 mystic perfections are considered to be naturally existing and unexcelled within this world. Purport. Through Anima Siddhi one can become so small that one can enter a stone or pass through any obstacle. Through Mahima Siddhi one becomes so great that one covers everything, and through Lakima one becomes so light that one can ride on the sun's rays into the sun planet. Through Prapti Siddhi one can acquire anything from anywhere and can even touch the moon with one's finger. By this mystic perfection one can also enter into the senses of any other living entity through the predominating deities of the particular senses. And by thus utilizing the senses of others one can acquire anything. Through Prakamya one can experience any enjoyable object either in this world or the next, and through Ishita or the controlling potency one can manipulate the substances of Maya which are material. In other words, even by acquiring mystic powers one cannot pass beyond the control of illusion. However, one may manipulate the substances of illusion. Through Vashita or the power to control, one can bring others under one's dominion or keep oneself beyond the control of the three modes of nature. Ultimately, one acquires through Kama Vasayita the maximum powers of control, acquisition, and enjoyment. The word Autpatika in this verse indicates being original, nature, and unexcelled. These 8 mystic potencies originally exist in Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in the superlative degree. Lord Krishna becomes so small that he enters within the atomic particles, and he becomes so large that, as Mahavishnu, he breathes out millions of universes. The Lord can become so light or subtle that even great mystic yogis cannot perceive him, and the Lord's acquisitive power is perfect because he keeps the total existence eternally within his body. The Lord certainly can enjoy whatever he likes, control all energies, dominate all other persons, and exhibit complete omnipotence. Therefore, it is to be understood that these 8 mystic perfections are insignificant expansions of the mystic potency of the Lord, who in Bhagavad Gita is called Yogeshwara, the Supreme Lord of all mystic potencies. These 8 perfections are not artificial, but are natural and unexcelled because they originally exist in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 6-7. Anurmina Matvam Dehesmin Durashravana Darshanam Manojavaha Kamarupam Parakaya Praveshanam Swachanda Mrityur Devanam Sahakritdanudarshanam Yatha Sankalpa Samsiddhir Raja Pratihata Gatihi. Translation. The 10 secondary mystic perfections arising from the modes of nature are the powers of freeing oneself from hunger and thirst, and other bodily disturbances, hearing and seeing things far away, moving the body at the speed of the mind, assuming any form one desires, entering the bodies of others, dying when one desires, witnessing the pastimes between the demigods and the celestial girls called Apsaras, completely executing one's determination and giving orders whose fulfillment is unimpeded. Text 8-9. Trikala Yatvam Advandvam parachittadi abhiyata agni arkambu vishadinam pratistambo praparajayah etaschodeshatah prokta yoga dharana siddhayah yaya dharanaya yasyad yathavasyanibodhame. Translation. The power to know past, present and future, tolerance of heat, cold and other dualities, knowing the minds of others, checking the influence of fire, sun, water, poison and so on, and remaining unconquered by others, these constitute 5 perfections of the mystic process of yoga and meditation. I am simply listing these here according to their names and characteristics. Now please learn from me how specific mystic perfections arise from specific meditations and also of the particular process involved. Purport. According to the Acharyas, these 5 perfections are considered to be quite inferior to the others already mentioned since they involve more or less ordinary physical and mental manipulations. According to Srila Madhvacharya, the perfection called Agni Akrambu Vishadinam Pratishtambha, or checking the influence of fire, sun, water, poison, and so on, the term and so on refers to one's remaining invulnerable to all types of weapons as well as attacks by nails, teeth, beating, curses, and other such sources. Text 10. Bhu sukshmat Manimai tanmatram dharayin manaha animanam avapnoti tanmatro pasako mama. Translation. One who worships me in my atomic form, pervading all subtle elements, fixing his mind on that alone, obtains the mystic perfection called anima. Purport. Anima refers to the mystic ability to make oneself smaller than the smallest, and thus able to enter within anything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is within the atoms and atomic particles, and one who perfectly fixes his mind in that subtle atomic form of the Lord acquires the mystic potency called anima, by which one can enter within even the most dense matter such as stone. Text 11. Mahat tattvatmani mayi yatha samstam manodadat mahimanam avapnoti bhutanam cha pratak. Translation. One who observes his mind in the particular form of the Mahat Tattva and thus meditates upon me as the Supreme Soul of the total material existence achieves the mystic perfection called Mahima by further observing the mind in the situation of each individual element such as the sky, air, fire and so on. One progressively acquires the greatness of each material element. Purport. There are innumerable verses in Vedic literatures explaining that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is qualitatively not different from his creation, and thus a yogi may meditate upon the total material existence as a manifestation of the external potency of the Lord. Once the yogi has established his realization that the material creation is not different from the Lord, he obtains the perfection called Mahima Siddhi. By realizing the Lord's presence in each individual element, the yogi also acquires the greatness of each element. However, the pure devotees are not very interested in such perfections because they are surrendered to the Personality of Godhead who exhibits such perfections to the infinite degree. Being always protected by the Lord, the pure devotees save their precious time to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus they achieve for themselves and others samsiddhi, or the supreme perfection, pure love of Godhead, Krishna consciousness, by which one expands one's existence beyond total material creation to the spiritual planets called Vaikuntha. Text 12. Paramanumaye chittam bhutanam mayi ranjayan kala sukshmartatam gi lakhimanam avapnyut. Translation: I exist within everything, and I am therefore the essence of the atomic constituents of material elements. By attaching his mind to me in this form, the yogi may achieve the perfection called lagima, by which he realizes the subtle atomic substance of time. Purport: Srimad Bhagavatam elaborately explains that Kala or time is the transcendental form of the Lord that moves the material world. Since the five gross elements are composed of atoms, the atomic particles are the subtle substance or manifestation of the movement of time. More subtle than time is the Personality of Godhead himself, who expands his potency as the time factor. By understanding all these things clearly, the yogi obtains Lakima Siddhi, or the power to make himself lighter than the lightest. Text 8.13 Dharayan mai aham tattve mano vaikarike kilam sarvendriyanam atmavan praptim prapnoti manaha. Translation: fixing his mind completely in me within the elements of false ego generated from the mode of goodness, the yogi obtains the power of mystic acquisitions by which he becomes the proprietor of the senses of all living entities. He obtains such perfection because his mind is absorbed in me. Fixing his mind completely in me within the element of false ego generated from the mode of goodness, the yogi obtains the power of mystic acquisition by which he becomes the proprietor of the senses of all living entities. He obtains such perfection because his mind is absorbed in me. Purport: it is significant that in order to acquire which mystic perfection one must fix one's mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that those who pursue such perfections without fixing the mind in the Supreme Lord acquires the gross and inferior reflections of each mystic potency. Those who are not conscious of the Lord cannot actually synchronize their minds perfectly with the universal functions, and therefore cannot elevate their mystic opulences to the universal platform. Text 14 Mahati Atmani Yaha Sutre Dharayen Mayi Manasam Prakamyam Paramishtyam Me Vindate Vyakta Janmanaha. Translation: one who concentrates all mental activities in me as the super soul of that phase of the Mahatattva which manifests the chain of fruitive activities, obtains from me, whose appearance is beyond material perception, the most excellent mystic perfection called Prakamya. Purport: Srila Viraragha Acharya explains that the word sutra or thread is used to indicate that the Mahatattva sustains one's fruitive activities, just as the thread sustains a row of jewel. Thus, by fixed meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the soul of the Mahatattva, one can achieve the most excellent perfection called Prakamya. Avyakta Janmanaha indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears from the Avyakta or the spiritual sky, or that his birth is Avyakta, beyond the perception of material senses. Unless one accepts the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no possibility of obtaining Prakamya or any other genuine mystic perfection. Text 15 Viṣṇau Triyadhishvare Chittam Dharayet Kala Vigrahe Saishvitvam Avapnoti Kshetranya Kshetrachodanam. Translation: one who places his consciousness on Viṣṇu, the Super Soul, the Prime Mover and Supreme Lord of the external energy, consisting of three modes, obtains the mystic perfection of controlling other conditioned souls. One who places his consciousness on Viṣṇu, the Super Soul, the Prime Mover and Supreme Lord of the external energy, consisting of three modes, obtains the mystic perfection of controlling other conditioned souls, their material bodies and their bodily designations. Purport: we should remember that mystic perfection never enables a living entity to challenge the supremacy of the Personality of Godhead. In fact, one cannot obtain such perfections without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Thus one's controlling power can never disturb the plan of Lord Krishna. One is allowed to exhibit mystic control only within the confines of the law of God. And even a great yogi who transgresses the law of God by his so-called mystic opulences will be severely punished, as revealed in the story of Durvasa Muni cursing Ambarish Maharaj. Text 16. Narayani turiyakye bhagavat chabda sabdite manomai adathat yogi maddharma vasitam yat. Translation. The yogi who places his mind in my form of Narayana, known as the fourth factor, full of all opulences, becomes endowed with my nature and thus obtains the mystic perfection called Vashita. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Tripir gunamayair bhavair epir sarvam idam jagat mohitam na bhijanati mamebhyaha param avyayam. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes of inexhaustible. Thus the Lord is called Turiya, or the fourth factor beyond the three modes of nature. According to Srila Viraraghavacharya, Turiya also indicates that the Lord is beyond the three ordinary phases of consciousness, namely wakefulness, dreaming, and dreamless sleep. Bhagavad-Chabda Subhite indicates that the Lord is known as Bhagavan, or the possessor of unlimited opulences, principally beauty, fame, wealth, knowledge, renunciation, and intelligence. In conclusion, one can obtain the mystic opulence Vashita, or freedom from the modes of nature, by meditating upon the Lord as Turiya, the fourth factor beyond those modes. Everything depends upon the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 17. Nirgune Brahmani Mai Darayan Visadam Manaha Paramanandam Apnoti Yatra Kama Vashiyate. Translation. One who fixes his pure mind on me in my manifestation as the impersonal Brahman obtains the greatest happiness, wherein all his desires are completely fulfilled. Purport. Paramananda, or the greatest happiness, here indicates the greatest material happiness, since it is clearly stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that a devotee has no personal desire or kama. One who has personal desire is certainly within the material realm, and on the material platform the greatest happiness is kamavasayita siddhi, or the perfection of completely obtaining anything that one desires. Text 18. Shvetadvipa patau chittam suthe dharma maye mai darayan shvetatmayati sad urmi rahito naraha. Translation. A human being who concentrates on me as the upholder of religious principles, the personification of purity and the Lord of Shvetadvipa, obtains the pure existence in which he is freed from the 6 waves of material disturbance, namely hunger, thirst, decay, death, grief, and illusion. Purport. The Lord now begins to explain the process for obtaining the 10 secondary mystic perfections derived from the modes of nature. Within the material world, Lord Viṣṇu, addressed here as Shvetadvipapati, the Lord of Shvetadvipa, governs the material mode of goodness and is thus called Sutta, or Dharmamaya, or the personification of purity and piety. By worshipping Lord Viṣṇu as the personification of material goodness, one obtains the material benediction of freedom from bodily disturbance. Text 19. Mayi akashatmani prane manasa gosham udvahan Tatropalabdha bhutanam hamso vacha shnotyasau. Translation. That purified living entity who fixes his mind on the extraordinary sound vibration occurring within me as the personified sky and total life air is then able to perceive within the sky the speaking of all living entities. Purpose: speech occurs by vibrating air within the sky. One who meditates on the Supreme Lord as the personified sky and air thereby acquires the ability to hear that which is vibrated at great distance. The word prana indicates that the Lord is the personified life air of the individual living entities and for the total aggregate of life forms. Ultimately, the pure devotees meditate on the supreme vibration Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and are thus able to hear the speech originating from liberated living entities far beyond the material universe. Any living entity can hear such discussions by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other such literatures. One who has properly understood the opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead finds all perfection, mystic and otherwise, in Krishna consciousness. Text 20. Chakshustvashtari samyojya tvashtaram api chakshushi mam tatra manasa dhyayan vishvam pashyati durataha. Translation: merging one's sight into the sun planet and then the sun planet into one's eyes, one should meditate on me as existing within the combination of sun and vision. Thus one acquires the power to see any distant thing. Text 21. Manomayi susamyoja deham tad anuvayuna maddarananubhavina tatratma yatra vai manaha. Translation: the yogi who completely absorbs his mind in me and who then makes use of the wind that follows the mind to absorb the material body in me obtains through the potency of meditation on me the mystic perfection by which his body immediately follows his mind wherever it goes. Purport: Tat Anuvyayuna indicates the particular subtle air that follows the mind. When the yogi merges this air together with the body and mind in Krishna by the potency of meditation on the Lord, his gross material body, like the subtle air, can follow the mind anywhere. This perfection is called Manojavaha. Text 22. Yada mana upadhyaya yadyadrupam bubhushati tat bhavin manurupam madyoga balamashrayaha. Translation: when the yogi, applying his mind in a certain way, desires to assume a particular form, that very form immediately appears. When the yogi, applying his mind in a certain way, desires to assume a particular form, that very form immediately appears. Such perfection is possible by absorbing the mind in the shelter of my inconceivable mystic potency, by which I assume innumerable forms. Purport: this perfection is called Kamarupa, or the ability to assume any form that one desires, even the form of a demigod. Pure devotees absorb their mind in a particular type of service to Lord Krishna, and thus gradually assume a spiritual body for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Thus anyone who takes to the process of chanting the holy names of Krishna and follows the regulative principles of human life can acquire the ultimate perfection of Kamarupa, assuming an eternal spiritual body in the kingdom of God. Text 23. Parakayam vishansitha atmanam tatra bhavayet pindam hitva vishet prano vayubhutaha sadagrivat. Translation: when a perfect yogi desires to enter another's body, he should meditate upon himself within the other body, and then giving up his own gross body, he should enter the other's body through the pathways of air as easily as a bee leaves one flower and flies into another. Purport: as Air is inhaled into the body through the nostrils and mouth. Similarly, the life air of the yogi's subtle body travels through the pathways of external air and easily enters into the body of another person, just as the bee easily flies from flower to flower. One may admire a heroic man or beautiful woman and desire to experience life within their extraordinary material body. Such opportunities are available through the mystic perfection called Parakaya Praveshanam. Pure devotees, being absorbed in meditation upon the spiritual form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are not actually attracted to any material body. Thus the devotees remain transcendental and satisfied on the platform of eternal life. Text 24. Parshnya pidya gudam pranam hridurhu uraha akanta murtasu aropya brahma santrinam brahmanyitvotsrijetanam. Translation. The yogi who has achieved the mystic perfection called Swachanda Mrityu blocks the anus with the heel of the foot and then lifts the soul from the heart to the chest, to the neck and finally to the head. Situated within the Brahma Rantra, the yogi then gives up his material body and guides the spirit soul to the selected destination. Purport. This mystic opulence of Swachanda Mrityu, or dying at will, was wonderfully exhibited by Bhishma at the end of the battle of Kurukshetra. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the term Brahma as used in this verse is an example of upalakshana, or the use of a general term to indicate various concepts. Brahma here indicates the particular destination selected by the yogi, named the spiritual sky, the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, or any other destination that has attracted the yogi's mind. Text 25. Viharishan surakride matstam sattvam vibhavayat vimaneno patishtanti sattva vritti surastriyaha. Translation. The yogi who desires to enjoy in the pleasure gardens of the demigods should meditate on the purified mode of goodness, which is situated within me, and then the heavenly woman generated from the mode of goodness will approach him in airplanes. Text 26. Yatha sankalpayet bhutya yadava matparaha puman Mayi satye mano yujam statha tat samupashnute. Translation. A yogi who has faith in me, absorbing his mind in me, and now knowing that my purpose is always fulfilled, will always achieve his purpose by the very means he has determined to follow. A yogi who has faith in me, absorbing his mind in me, and knowing that my purpose is always fulfilled, will always achieve his purpose by the very means he has determined to follow. Purport. In this verse, the word yada whenever indicates that by the mystic power called yatha sankalpa samsiddhi, one will achieve one's objective even if one pursues it at an inauspicious time. Lord Krishna is called Satya Sankalpa, or he whose desire, intention, purpose, or resolve always comes to pass. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that one should determine to revive one's lost relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna through the infallible means of devotional service, which can be executed at any time or in any place. There are many books giving proper guidance for achieving Lord Krishna, and the following are mentioned: Srila Jiva Goswami's Sankalpa Kalpavriksha, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraja's Shri Govinda Lilamrita, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti's Śrī Kṛṣṇa Bhavanamrita, and Sankalpa Kalpadruma, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Shri Gauranga Smarana Mangala. In the modern age, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada In the modern age, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has given us over 60 large volumes of transcendental literature which can fix us firmly on the path back home, back to Godhead. Our sankalpa or determination should be practical and not useless. We should resolve to make a permanent solution to the problems of life by going back home, back to Godhead. Text 27. Yo vai mat bhavam apanna ishitur vasitu puman Kutaschinna vihanyeta tasya chanha yatha mama. Translation. A person who perfectly meditates on me acquires my nature of being the supreme ruler and controller. His order, like mine, can never be frustrated by any means. Purport. By the command of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the entire creation is moving, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given his command that people all over the world should take to Krishna consciousness. The sincere devotee of the Lord should go all over the world repeating the Lord's command. In this way, they can share in his mystic opulence of giving orders that cannot be counteracted. Text 28. Mat bhaktya suddha sattvasya Yogino dharanalvidha tasya traikalika buddhir janma mrityupa brimhita. Translation. A yogi who has purified his existence by devotion to me, and who thus expertly knows the process of meditation, obtains knowledge of past, present, and future. He has purified his existence by devotion to me, and who thus expertly knows the process of meditation obtains knowledge of past, present, and future. He can therefore see the birth and death of himself and others. Purport. After having explained the 8 primary and 10 secondary mystic perfections of yoga, the Lord now explains the 5 inferior potencies. Text 29. Agni adipirna hanyeta muniryoga mayam vapuhu matyoga shanta chittasya yadasham udakam yatha. Translation. Just as the bodies of aquatics cannot be injured by water, similarly the body of a yogi whose consciousness is pacified by devotion to me and who is fully developed in yoga science cannot be injured by fire, sun, water, poison, and so forth. Purport. The creatures dwelling in the ocean are never injured by water, rather they enjoy life within the water medium. Similarly, for one skilled in the techniques of yoga, fending off attacks of weapons, fire, poison, and so on is a recreational activity. Prahlad Maharaj was attacked by his father in all these ways, but because of his perfect Krishna consciousness, he was not injured. The pure devotees of the Lord depend fully on the mercy of Lord Krishna, who possesses mystic opulences to an infinite degree and is therefore known as Yogeshwara, the master of all mystic power. Because devotees are always connected to Lord Krishna, they do not feel any need to separately develop powers already possessed unlimitedly by their Lord, Master, and Protector. If a human being falls into the middle of the ocean, he quickly drowns, whereas the fish enjoy happiness sporting in the same way. Similarly, the conditioned souls have fallen into the ocean of material existence and are drowning in the reactions to their sinful activities, whereas the devotees recognize this world to be the potency of the Lord and enjoy pleasurable pastimes within it by fully engaging in the loving service of Lord Krishna. Text 30. Mad vibhutir abhidyayan Shrivatsastra vibhushitaha Dhvajata patra vyajanaihi sabhavit aparajitaha. Translation. My devotee becomes unconquerable by meditating on my opulent incarnations, which are decorated with Srivatsa and various weapons, and are endowed with imperial paraphernalia such as flags, ornaments, umbrellas, and fans. Purport. The imperial paraphernalia of the Lord's opulent incarnations indicates his omnipotency, and the devotees become unconquerable by meditating on the Lord's powerful, royal-equipped incarnations. As stated by Bilva Mangal Thakur in Krishna Karnamrita verse 107, Bhakti Stvai Stiratara Bhagavan Yadhisyad Daivena Naha Palati Divya Kishora Murtihi Muktihi Swayam Mukulitanjalihi Sevate Sman Dharmartha Kamagatayaha Samaya Pratikshaha. My dear Lord, if we develop unflinching devotional service unto you, then automatically your transcendental youthful form is revealed to us. Thus liberation herself waits with folded hands to serve us, and the ultimate goals of religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification patiently wait to render service to us. Text 31. Upasakasya mamevam yogadharanaya munihe siddhayaha purvakatita upatishtanti asheshataha. Translation. A learned devotee who worships me through yoga meditation certainly obtains in all respects the mystic perfection that I have described. Yoga may certainly obtains in all respects the mystic perfection that I have described. Purport. The word yoga dharanaya indicates that each devotee obtains the particular perfection for which he has qualified himself. The Lord thus concludes his discussion of yoga siddhis. Text 32. Jitendriyasya dantasya jita swasatmano munihi maddaranam darayataha kasa siddhi sudurlabha. Translation. For a sage who has conquered his senses, breathing, and mind, who is self-controlled and always absorbed in meditation on me, what mystic perfection could possibly be difficult to achieve? Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami comments as follows. Lord Viṣṇu here expresses that there is no need to practice many different processes, for by completely carrying out even one of the above-mentioned procedures, man controls one's senses, becomes absorbed in him, and thus achieves all mystic perfections. Srila Jiva Goswami notes that one must meditate on the transcendental form of the Lord, which is free from any material designation. This is the essence of advancing in the yoga system. Thus one acquires all mystic perfections very easily from the personal body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 33. Antarayan vadanti ta yujato yogamuttamam maya sampadyamanasya kalakshapana hetavaha. Translation. Learned experts in devotional service state that the mystic perfections of yoga that I have mentioned are actually impediments and are a waste of time for one who is practicing the supreme yoga by which one achieves all perfection in life directly from me. Learned experts in devotional life state that the mystic perfections of yoga that I have mentioned are actually impediments and are a waste of time for one who is practicing the supreme yoga by which one achieves all perfection of life directly from me. Purport. It is common sense that whatever is a useless waste of time should be given up. Therefore, one should not pray to God for mystic yoga perfections, for a pure devotee who has no material desire, even impersonal liberation, is a useless disturbance in his life, And what to speak of material perfections of yoga, which cannot even be compared to impersonal liberation? Such mystic perfections may be wonderful for an immature and inexperienced person, but they are not impressive for a learned man who has understood the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Simply by obtaining Lord Krishna, one dwells within an infinite ocean of mystic opulences. Therefore, you should not waste precious time by pursuing separate mystic perfections. Text 34. Janmaushati tapo mantrair yavatir ihasitayaha yogana apnoti taha sarva nanyaya yoga gatim vrajat. Translation: whatever mystic perfections can be achieved by good birth, herbs, austerities, and mantras can all be achieved by devotional service to me. Indeed, one cannot achieve the actual perfection of yoga by any other means. Purport: by taking birth as a demigod, one is automatically endowed with many mystic perfections. Simply by birth on Sitaloka, one automatically acquires all of the 8 principal perfections of yoga. Similarly, by birth as a fish, one becomes invulnerable to water. By birth as a bird, one gets the mystic perfection of flying, and by birth as a ghost, one gets the mystic perfection of disappearing and entering into the bodies of others. Patanjali Muni states that the mystic perfections of yoga can be achieved by birth, herbs, austerities, and mantras. The Lord states, however, that such perfections are ultimately a waste of time and an impediment to achieving the actual perfection of yoga Krishna consciousness. Those who give up the process of bhakti yoga and shop around for other objects of meditation besides Krishna are certainly not very intelligent. Those who claim to be yogis but pursue the satisfaction of their own senses are certainly kuyogis or bhogi yogis. Such kuyogis cannot understand that just as they have tiny senses, the Absolute Truth has absolute senses, nor can they understand that yoga is actually meant to satisfy the absolute senses of the Lord. Therefore, persons who give up the lotus feet of Lord Krishna in order to pursue so-called happiness in mystic perfection will undoubtedly be frustrated in their attempt. By meditating exclusively on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can achieve Yoga Gati, the ultimate goal of yoga, which means living on Lord Krishna's planet and there enjoying spiritual opulences. Text 35. Sarva sammapi siddhinam hetuhu patiraham prabhuhu aham yogasya sankyasya dharmasya brahmavadinam. Translation: my dear Uddhava, I am the cause, the protector, and the Lord of all mystic perfections, of the yoga system, of analytic knowledge, of pure activity, and of the community of learned Vedic teachers. Purport: according to Srila Sridhar Swami, the word yoga here indicates liberation from material life, and Sankhya indicates the means of obtaining liberation. Thus, Lord Krishna is not merely the Lord of material yoga perfections, but of the highest liberated perfections as well. One can obtain Sankhya or knowledge leading to liberation by performing pious activities, and Lord Krishna is also the cause, protector, and Lord of such activities as well as of the learned teachers who instruct ordinary people in the means of piety. In many different ways, Lord Krishna is the real object of meditation and worship for every living entity. Lord Krishna, through the expansion of his potencies, is everything, and this simple understanding called Krishna consciousness is the supreme perfection of the yoga system. Text 36. Aham atmantaro bahyo navritaha sarvadehinam yatha bhutani bhuteshu Bahir antah swayam yatha tatha. Translation: just as the same material elements exist within the outside of all material bodies, similarly I cannot be covered by anything else. I exist within everything as the soul and outside of everything in my all-pervading feature. Purport: Lord Krishna is the entire basis of meditation for all yogis and philosophers, and here the Lord clarifies his absolute position. Since the Lord is within everything, one might think that the Lord is divided into pieces. However, the word anavrita, or completely uncovered, indicates that nothing can interrupt, disturb, or in any way infringe upon the supreme existence of the Absolute Truth, the Personality of Godhead. There is no actual separation between the internal and external existence of the material elements, which continuously exist everywhere. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all-pervading and is the ultimate perfection of everything. Thus end the purports of the humble servant of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 11th Canto, 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Krishna's Description of Mystic Yoga Perfection.